Thanks, Cheryl. And Cheryl helped with this presentation in addition to working at the PUC and working at Colorado Springs Utility. She found time to help with this presentation, so thank you. So what I want to talk about is another tool. Jane just talked about video conference or video and SOPs as a tool for knowledge management and retention, and a wiki is also a tool for knowledge management and retention. Just a quick overview of our utilities. East Bay Mud is a special district. We serve Alameda and Contra Costa County. We have water, wastewater, and power. We serve about 1.3 million customers, and we have about 1,800 employees. San Francisco, which is right across the bay from us, is a municipal agency. They serve the San Francisco metropolitan area. They're also water, wastewater, and power. They serve about 2.4 million people, and they have about 2,000 employees. So today we talked about a lot of the challenges that we're all facing with workforce planning. We have a lot of mission-critical positions that are leaving. We showed at East Bay Mud that about 30 to 50% of our staff is leaving, and I've been looking at other sources, and that's a pretty standard percentage for around the country. Somewhere between 30 to 50% of utility workers are going to be gone within the next 5 years. And unfortunately, the labor pool to replace those employees is shrinking, and so we need additional programs like training programs and working with the community colleges to address those challenges. There's inadequate access to information. We all have lots and lots of information. I think we're kind of in that transition between the paper and the computer age. So I know personally in my office I probably have 20 filing cabinets filled with all sorts of information that's accessible only to me. So that's a problem, and it's a problem that we need to address. And we also don't document things as well as we should. There's a lot of facilities, there's a lot of operations manuals, as-built, a lot of drawings, and we need a way to adequately document that information. There's also a lack of decision support tools. We've talked about creating SOPs as one way of helping operators to problem solve and troubleshoot things, and also to learn how to manage complex processes. I think that's really important. We also have to catalog and store a lot of the valuable information that we do. We have within all our utilities people that just create reports. So where do those reports go when they're created, and how easily accessible are they? And we really need to clarify what operators need to properly do the jobs today and in the future, because jobs are changing. What an operator did 20 years ago is very different than what an operator does today. And we need to clarify that with our staff. So we have these challenges, and as Cheryl said, San Francisco and East Bay Mud both looked at these challenges, and simultaneously and independently, we both decided that we need to create a wiki. Cheryl and I were talking about some subject, and she said, we're creating a wiki. And like, hey, we're creating a wiki too. Let's get together and kind of talk about it. So I thought it was interesting that two utilities simultaneously came up to the same conclusion. So just to make clear that everybody understands what I'm talking about with a wiki is basically it's basically a search engine. It's a website, a web browser that links web pages together to make it easier to store data and to find data. It's a collaborative website for the community. And the classic example is Wikipedia. So I'm just curious, a show of hands, how many people have used or heard of Wikipedia? Okay. Everybody's heard and used Wikipedia. So for that reason, that's one of the reasons why you'd want to use a wiki. It's familiar to employers. All our employees know about Wikipedia. So if you say you're going to do a wiki, they kind of, oh, okay, well, I know about Wikipedia. So they're already familiar with the process before it's even started. So it's user-friendly, which means it's easily to implement. SCADA systems would be an example of something that can be difficult to implement. They can be very complicated. If people are kind of afraid of computers, they don't quite understand. If it's a large plant with a lot of unit processes, it can be really complicated. Wikis are very easy to enter data and to edit data. And requires less IT support than, for example, traditional softwares such as SCADA systems. And it's very easy to link databases together. So if a utility was thinking about a wiki, they need to go through a selection process. For us, the number one selection criteria was cost. Let's pick something that's cost effective. You need to decide whether you want to have something that is an open platform or a proprietary platform. And who's going to manage the system? Is it going to be the IT department? Is it going to be a computer expert within the section? And the ability to control and access data. We all have data that's sensitive, so we want to make sure that we can control that data. And that it's very easy to use. And another criteria would be, is it flat or a hierarchy type of structure? A flat structure would be this kind of a database. There's individual pieces of data within the structure. However, the data is not connected. So the username is not connected to the password. The password is not connected to the last name. A hierarchy or a tree structure would be something that looks like this. You can go down into different levels, and it's a different way of organizing your data. So when you're doing data selection for a wiki or a wiki selection, it's really important to know whether you want a flat or a hierarchy type of database. So East Bay Mud's decision was to pick something called MediaWiki, and that's a software that drives Wikipedia. And as I mentioned, one of the first criteria that we looked at was cost, and MediaWiki is free. So that's all we really had to look at. Free, great, we'll take it. It's written in PHP, which is a personal homepage. So it's a very open source. It's a very common script language. Actually, it turned out that in order for us to implement it, we basically just kind of plugged it in. The home page comes up, and within an hour, you can set up your home page. It does have a flat.
In other words, it's kind of like a blog site. You created just pretty easy, right?
Yeah, it took an hour to set it up. I mean, there wasn't any links, but just as far as to set up the home page, it took about an hour. It's a flat structure, so there is no tree. And it's what you see is what you get, rich text editor. So it's very easy to make changes. And our data is stored in an Oracle database, which is the main database for our company. Now, San Francisco, they decided to go with Confluence. Confluence is a web base. It's written in Java. It is a proprietary type of system, so there is a fee of about $2,000 a year because it is proprietary. And it does have a tree type of structure, so that does give them more flexibility on the way they can do searches. It's a well-known company. It's in 94 countries, and 8,100 companies have Confluence. And they named their wiki My Toolbox.